How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you another Rurouni Kenshin 2023 episode review. Today's episode is episode 6, Kurogasa. Before I go any further, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of more videos just like this one. This is one of the episodes I've been waiting for. Major battle number 1. You want to talk about the fake, well, his name is Himura's, but the fake Bateau signs, nah. You want to talk about the sword bearing police, and we spit at them. You want to talk about the Yakuza? No. This is major. This is a nice little major villain number 1. And I usually don't do a super ton of research, at least for this one, because I know this one very well. But I was trying to find the voice actor for Kurogasa, aka his real name, Jine Udo. And according, now this could be wrong, but I'm checking it again live just to make sure I'm not missing anything out. His voice actor is supposed to be the person who played Kamen Rider Skull in Kamen Rider W, jazz singer, movie. Well, he's not just a movie performer, but television performer. If I could find his name, because there's no way that that's the same person, and I might actually be right this time. No, Tomokazu Sugita. I have no clue where he's from. Hmm. But he does a really good job. Like this character's a menace. The deep, evil, chuckling laughter. One of those. This guy is done. Oh wow, and he's not. He's barely 40. This guy does a really good job. Oh, he actually plays. He actually played that man in Guilty Gear 2 Overture. Whoa. That's actually, yeah. That's actually pretty cool. You guys probably don't even care about Guilty Gear. I digress. All the same, let's talk about this. So, what is the plot here? The plot here is the police chief. Remember, police chief, episode 4. Was episode 4? Sorry, episode 3. Remember, police chief. Not the big guy, not the big guy, but the guy underneath him. He came to talk to Kenshin because there's a guy, a hooligan. I don't know why you're calling him a hooligan. He's a little bit more than a hooligan. He's a manslayer. It's Kurogasa, which literally means black hat, and he wears a black hat. Actually, his guy, and I wrote down the metrics. In 2 months, he's still been killing folks for the last 10 years, even after the end of the Bakumatsu, the end of the revolutionary period. This guy, in 2 months after he's arrived, has had 34 fatalities, 56 wounded. This cat will send a letter of a notice of assassination to whoever he's going after. He's going after all the imperialist people. We even see him in the I think we saw him at the end of the last episode. We see him in this one where no, I think it was the last one where folks were frozen. They couldn't do anything. He's slicing them up. And the problem that the police are having is that in addition to adding their own people, the targets get their own people and they get slaughtered as well. This is a Kenshin rightfully identifies as a person who was so intoxicated by the sight and scent of blood, he's lost himself. So, of course, Kenshin does it, right? And Sano goes with him as well. Now, the person that they're guarding, his name is Jusanro Tani. I'm gonna call him Tani for now. Tani was a revolutionary guy. As a matter of fact, I gotta say, he says, "It is I, the great Tani. I went through the forest of swords, and faced a rainstorm of bullets." And he's saying, why would I fear anything besides I got all these guys? He's hired goons from I forget the name of the group that he hired these people from. One dude literally has a shirt that says money, and I'm like, so you just hired random thug people that's supposed to help you? Okay. And he's talking trash to the chief, and he's like, so this outside person you hired is much better than your own forces that I'm saying I don't want. He's like, actually, yes. And Kenshin walks in, and this dude's jaw drops on the floor. Real imperialists, real people who fought in that Revolutionary War, know this guy, and that is one of the themes that I love the most. Where other people are not gonna like, who's this small guy with the red hair and the red kimono and the reverse blade? Who's this? Real imperialists are like, oh crap, that is a man who has taken more lives than bread, than I've eaten bread, right? And Kenshin says one of the funniest things. He said, I couldn't help but overhear you. And oh no, I almost missed my cue. I couldn't help but overhear you. And wow, you've really gotten quite boastful. You've gotten pretty strong now, Tani. It's pretty different from when I got you through that forest of swords and that rainstorm of bullets. Kenshin's like, I did all that for you. And Sanosuke comes in. He's like, wait, these guys are your hired guys? I've beaten up a bunch of these dudes. And when Kenshin flat out goes, look, I know that this is troublesome to you, but would you mind letting us outside assistants help you? He's like, yep, it'll be an honor, whatever you want. And Sanosuke tells the guys, and those guys have the anime sweat drops. He's like, yeah, we're friends. We're gonna work together. We'll fight about it later. And it's so funny when the chief's like, all right, I'm gonna put some people outside. Man, do whatever you want. And he goes, Oro, I mean, yes, please. I love the respect that Kenshin commands from folks that not really that he commands it like verbally. It's like these people look and they go, oh yeah, no, this is the dude that basically won us the war. Basically, so yeah, no, I'm not messing with him. Whatever he wants, he gets. Obviously, eventually, Kurogasa shows up. And not after a little bit of banter. He's supposed to show up at 1 a.m. And they think he's going to be late or not show up at all. But Kenshin, Sanosuke is kind of surprised that he took this job as that was being asked of Batosai. And Kenshin just he wants to stop anybody else from getting hurt or having unfortunate things happen to them, including Kurogasa himself. He feels for this other man's lair, right? Pardon me. Pardon me. And so he shows up, took out all the police guards outside, and they think he's gonna come up the stairs, but he comes from the window slicing a guy. And he does the paralyzing technique. Now Sanosuke's like, I don't know what you did to me, but I feel heavy. And he's like, yeah, you must be pretty dang strong. And Kenshin appears, jumps over. They have a quick slash meet. Kenshin gets cut here, but dude's entire hat falls over, showing how speedy and strong Kenshin is. And we have Sanosuke. Sano's basically saying, yeah, this dude's fast like Kenshin, but he doesn't jump around. He's just he has these he has the sword he uses has a creepy glint. First of all, Kurogasa, who Kenshin, I told you his name earlier. His name drops him as uh Jine Udo, because he heard about him. He said years ago when I was in Kyoto during the Bakumatsu, I heard of a guy who indiscriminately was slicing anybody down, and he used the technique. My goodness, the technique that was named is such a long name, guys. But bear with me, please, because I wish I would have wrote it down in full already. The technique's called the Nikaido Hihyo, right? What's it called? Shu no Ippo, special ninjutsu. And Kenshin breaks it down, says, nah, when he does it again, Kenshin goes, ha, he breaks out. Basically, the dude's spirit, sword aura, paralyzes you. So you gotta match it to break out. Which Kenshin goes, that's not sorcery. I'm like, bro, that's pretty much sorcery. No regular human being can do that. That makes zero sense in the mundane world. Might make a lot of sense in the world where you can move faster than light, but okay. Oh yeah, I did write that down. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna battle you. But first, I got to do this first. I already sent the letter. I got to do it. I got to do it. By the by, he takes out, after he counts like 15 people, he takes out a good 5 or 6 guys before moving in. Sanosuke, he breaks out, goes in and grabs a whole ass statue and blocks him from stabbing Tani. 'Cause Tani couldn't move, even though Kenshi told him just break out of it. No, fat, rotten pigs that are doing nothing but making money as former imperialists in the government, they can't break out of it. Which, if you used to be a swordsman and all you've been doing for the last 10 years is politics, because that's who he's going after: politicians, government people, folks who were in that revolutionary war and are imperialists, but now they don't fight. He breaks his blade, but this dude doesn't care. He's chuckling, stabs through his hand into his chest. So Sano is taking some damage, but Kenshin gets a really good blow on him. And the guy's like, you know what? You're my new target. So I'm going to see you again very soon. Leaves. Dude is like a walking representation of Ninja Scroll. If you haven't seen Ninja Scrolls, the movie, then the anime, you should. Do not let your children watch that, though. No, it is very much adult. Do not have your children watch Ninja Scrolls. So, dude's gone off. This is what Kenshin wanted. He basically says, I wanted him just to target me because I'm a Hitokiri. I'm a former Hitokiri. He's a still going Hitokiri. And I like the fact that they both knew one another, even though they never crossed paths. Like, he knew who Himura Batosai was, the manslayer. And he tells him, get your sword that's not the Sakabato. I want the old you. And so Kenshin's basically, as they're walking home in the middle of the night, is basically spilling to Sanosuke what he knows about him. About his technique known as the Nikaido Hihyo. It uses 3 different sword stances, letter 1, 8, and 10. By combining all of the sword strokes together, 1, 8, and 10, you get the character of Taira, which is why it's called Hihyo. I do not know anything about that. I just know what the symbol actually does look like, all those movements. But the creepiest, the most ultimate technique is that paralyzation. The Ikurumo magic is what some people call it. And as a matter of fact, it is said this was only usable by the founder of Shin no Ippo. And the thing about it is, Kenshin says it's usually you use it when you're fighting someone head to head, and it makes them freeze and you can win, or it gives you a chance to run away. What this dude is doing, he's using it on people that have given up and tried to run away and gleefully murdering them. It's very, very fiendish. And while Sanosuke is happy that they got Kenshin, Kenshin says, look, I forbid myself for the last 10 years of taking a life. This dude's been doing it for the last 10 years. We are not even when it comes to who's a Hitokiri. I'm going to disagree, but I'll tell you why in a minute. He also doesn't know when Jine learned Nikaido Hihyo. Doesn't know. He could have learned it back in the Bakumatsu era. Who knows? Because this guy was a former Shinsengumi. Not just murdering the imperialist people that they're fighting against. He murdered countless unneeded people that didn't need to die. And when his superior was finally going to discipline him, he murdered that guy and ran away. And then all of a sudden, he is on the imperialist side. He joins whatever side he can so that he can enjoy bloodshed. He is literally lusts over ending lives. I can't call him a Joker to Kenshin's Batman, but a foil, a good foil in reverse of the type of person Kenshin is. I'll get to that in a minute. But he only has a desire to kill. But he's at the Kenshin and Kenshin alone. He asks Sano a favor to go watch after Kaoru and Yahiko in the dojo. Kaoru ain't having it. And the reason why she's not having it, she's crying, right? Her father died. Kihei betrayed her. And if Kenshin leaves, she's going to be all alone again. Now, she would rather see herself in danger than to just accept somebody else leaving because she remembers Kenshin says he's a Rurouni, he's a wanderer. He doesn't know where his next place is. And in my mind, I'm going, don't you have Yahiko though? And Sano brings up, he's like, it's kind of funny that she forgot all about you. She's still going to wander off after Sano tells her, hey, he's going to have a hard time trying to defend you and fight at the same time, but okay. And Sano rightfully says, she's very selfish, but you can't separate romance and selfishness, right? And Yahiko says, well, Kenshin is like literally the number one guy in Japan, and I'm number two. And I love how Sanosuke goes, well, I guess that makes me number three. So he's going to go take a bath and sleep because his arm is wrapped up in a sling. I told you, he got stabbed through it into his chest. I'm going to make an interjection here. I love the fact. Now, this seems different. Again, I watched Rurouni Kenshin original in dub. Watched it in dub form. Don't know what the Japanese text is like because I haven't watched it subbed and I haven't just watched it in Japanese. But I like the fact that while he is teasing of both Kaoru and Yahiko, he doesn't fight Yahiko on being number two, right? Because Sano will be like, yeah, if Kenshin's number one, then I'm number two. You could be number three, kid. You would think, because in the dub, for some reason, in Western dubs, and I've noticed this because I've been rewatching Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been watching Battle City, and I've watched a couple other things. Why is it that everyone in English dubs, especially in Pokemon, are a-holes? Like, you say mean shit just to be mean. Instead of answering a question, you say, oh, no shit, genius. Like a lot of. So this is a stark contrast to something that may have shown up. I don't remember exactly if he had a conversation like this, but I'm used to him teasing Yahiko, at least in the dub that I remember watching. So the fact that he just goes, I'll be number three then. All right, I'm gonna take a nap. I like that. I like that easy going of going, yeah, I still know my worth, but hey kid, I like your confidence. Cool. Unfortunately, Kurogasa was behind the wall, and I love that they didn't let us see him. They let us hear his that evil chuckle. Kenshin went down to the river because Hitakiri during the old days they would use the rivers to go from place to place because it's easy to go and do their murdering, and two, it's easy to escape. Now the river is pretty high; it might have stormed further up, but he's just sitting there. He feels this murderous intent. It's actually Kaoru who's pretty mad at him, and they have this heart to heart conversation. Right? She doesn't want him to go, but he's like, "Look, if you she doesn't want him to stay by himself. She doesn't want him to leave. But he's like, if you stay here, I can't fight properly. So she gives him her favorite indigo ribbon, says, I want this back. So don't fight him and then forget and go off on another journey. He's like, you know what? I promise I will return it to you. And he's like, now go back home, okay? And she's like, okay. This next part makes me laugh so hard. I'm not even lying. Udo on a boat snatches her up. Literally that thing right there. He snatches her up. And it is hilarious how fast it happens. Literally says to Kenshin, hey man, I want you to get angry. But guess what? I saw this. This girl is your woman. So get pissed off, get mad. I want you to go back to being the most powerful, peerless Hitokiri of all time, that legendary manslayer. Kenshin's genuinely pissed. He looks like he's ready to this guy, right? Just get rid of him. And that's where our episode ends. Now, for all of my notes I took here, I end up talking through it. Please watch this if you haven't. I enjoyed this episode so much because it's what I've been waiting for. I'm so glad it's part one than part two, because I hope part two is all the fight. Don't do no cliffhangers and for episode 8. Don't care. Let us start anew with that. This is first part. This is I'm enjoying this. And then after this is the only Wabon group. Ooh. But yes, from also what I looked up, episode 6 and the original also had this. So while I thought things felt like they were going faster, but at a nice pace. Maybe they are going at the same pace. Oddly enough, in the manga, there was no outside food eating session where like the gang is eating and you have Sano complaining that Kaoru she should learn how to cook too. She's throwing things at him and he's using Kenshin as a shield. Kenshin, the legendary man killer, is getting pummeled with things. And it's funny. I like stuff like that. That's funny to me. It's also cute because Kaoru couldn't sleep throughout the night with him being gone. Like she was genuinely worried about him. I love this beginning of their love, of this romance. And probably the more she learns about him, the more it's probably gonna be, I guess, a test for Kenshin because Kenshin has tons of demons in his closet, tons of them. One of them is gonna appear in the Kyoto arc as one of the best arcs of all of anime and manga, and another one's gonna appear towards the ending. Not even gonna get to that one. Not even gonna tell you about that one yet. But this was fun. This was great. I enjoy the history lesson about who this guy was. I don't ever remember that popping up before, but I like this. I like that this is who this guy's literally. You got Kenshin on one side, and you got fake evil Gambit on the other side, which is appropriate because he has that bow staff there. And the guy look like Gambit. He has black eyes. He has the side thing. He's wearing almost all black tights. And this is what Kenshin could have turned into if he just kept manslaying for these last 10 years. Someone that lusted over blood and enjoys just killing just to kill. Makes up excuses. This guy goes, once both sides have unsheathed their swords, no one leaves until someone dies. And it's like, you don't have to do that. Kenshin is trying to find an out for the killer. But again, this is one of those fights I'm going to like because it's going to push Kenshin to whether he's going to go back on his word or not. Mark my words. If you haven't seen this series before, this next episode is going to be really good. I'm going to enjoy it. Did find out some. I apparently must have missed that first Rurouni Kenshin live action movie because this guy is based around this guy, and it took out some parts. I'm looking forward to reviewing those live actions whenever we take a break from this. But man, this is great. I like seeing how strong Sanosuke is. The fact that he might not be a Kenshin Himura, but he is strong in his own right. And that's good. It's good to have a character not lost to the wayside. I gotta give this a 5. This is so good. This is so good. It hits all of those points you want. What's the problem? Who's the bad guy? Well, tell us a little bit about him. Oh, his technique sounds kind of cool. Tell me more about him. Oh, he really is on the deranged side. Creepy deranged man with the creepy deranged laugh. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. That's a 5 out of 5 for me, y'all. I might be biased. I don't really care because of all the points I pointed out. It's really good. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. All right. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more Rurouni Kenshin reviews like this. All right. Be good. Be blessed. Wash those hands. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Either way it goes. Don't be a jerk, and you make sure you stay safe out there. All right. Above all other things, if you're feeling lost, reach out to someone. Talk to someone. Don't be afraid to open up. I promise you won't regret it. There's someone out there that would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. All right, guys? All right? My social medias are right there in the description. Give me a follow. Send me a message. Just don't be a jerk about it, and I promise I'll get back to you. All right? All right. Well, until next time, guys, I cannot wait. I cannot. What? Huh? Order?